Thank you, Sensei. Now I'd like to invite Reverend Henry Adams to present our Dharma talk. Thank you.
Namanda vats namanda vats namanda vats namanda vats namanda vats namanda 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 namanda. I'll begin my talk with a verse from the Jusege, which we just chanted, the words of Shakyamuni Buddha. I will be the great provider throughout innumerable kalpas. Should I fail to save all in need, I would never attain enlightenment. Gao muryoko fui dai seshu fusai shobingu se fujosho gaku. Namandavats, 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 namandavats. Okay, well, good evening, everyone. Thanks to all who are here together with us here in the Hondo, and deep gratitude to all who are joining us on Zoom as well for this very special continuation of our BCSF tradition. It's wonderful to be together in this way, although we can't be, we're not all gathered here in person. It's wonderful that we're able to connect in this way to reflect upon the Buddha and Shakyamuni Buddha's awakening, and to think about how the light of his wisdom shines in our lives today. So I'm particularly grateful to Leo Sensei for reading, sharing the story of the Buddha's enlightenment. And I want to kind of zoom in on one of the episodes from that story that he shared. And this is the point at which the Buddha is seated before he's become the Buddha. Siddhartha is seated beneath the Bodhi tree. He has received the generous dana, the gift of milk from Sujata. He's now entering into his path, and he's become so close to enlightenment that it's said that a bright light has begun to shine from where he's seated. Just like as we can see here, we have these beautiful bright lights illuminating our Bodhi tree here in the BCSF Hondo, and you can see, perhaps you can see, Siddhartha is seated there beneath the Bodhi tree. And can you see what he's doing with his hand? Can you see he's got one hand is in his lap, and the other hand is reaching down and touching the ground. And so I want to talk about, why is it that he has one hand reaching down to touch the ground? So at that moment, as that bright light was shining forth from the Bodhi tree, there was somebody who noticed that light and who became very concerned. And that was Mara. Have you heard of Mara before? Mara, if you recall the story that Leo Sensei shared, he appeared before the Buddha with a flaming sword, right? So he wasn't cheering the Buddha on, he was trying to stop him, he was trying to move him from that seat under the Bodhi tree, because he knew that if the Buddha became enlightened, if he realized awakening, then not only would the Buddha be free, but he would be able to guide all beings to liberation. And Mara is the king of this world of confusion, this world of delusion. And he controls everyone's minds, right, with greed, anger, and ignorance. So this is a way that we tell the story of Mara, and we think about Mara as a way of understanding how our greed and our anger and our foolishness, how these things create confusion in our lives. And so these are present, right, in my heart, for sure, and they're present in the hearts of any being in this world who's not yet enlightened, right? And so I want to say a little bit about Mara and how he's at work in the lives of many different beings. In particular, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine who has a lot of trouble with Mara. And this is my friend, Mr. Sock Monkey. Mr. Sock Monkey has a big problem with Mara because Mara is always playing tricks on him. And one time, Mara captured this monkey and he locked him in a cage with 6 windows. There were 6 windows. And what Mara would do is he would put something that our friend the monkey really liked. He would set a delicious orange in one window. And Mr. Sock Monkey would say, "Ooh, orange, orange!" And he would go rushing over for it, but he couldn't quite reach it. And then Mara would set a delicious banana in another window. And then just as Mr. Monkey thought he could get that orange, "Ooh, the banana!" And he rushed over here. And then in another window, Mara would put up a nice, ripe apple. And the monkey would say, "Oh, apple, I want an apple." He'd go to the apple, and just as he got close to the apple, then Mara would pull down the apple, and Mara would jump up into the window and go, "Rah!" and make a scary face, and poor monkey, he would run and hide. And so Mara, all day long, he would torment poor Mr. Monkey with these 6 windows. And the monkey would run for one thing he liked, then he would run away from something he disliked. "I want this, don't want that. I want this, don't want that." And all day long until finally, Mr. Monkey just collapsed down, and he looked up and he saw, "Oh, wait a second. All above me, the bright blue sky is open," right? Jumped right out the top and ran off, right? Realized his freedom. So these 6 senses, these 6 windows, right? These are the ways that we get tricked all day long by 6 windows in our own body. We have 6 windows, one that we see out of. Can you guess what that is? Right? Your eyes, right? And then there's one we hear out of, our ears, right? Then one that we smell, our nose. And then something we can taste, right? Our mouth. And then what we can feel. Our skin is like a window, right? Right now it's nice, comfortable temperature here in the Hondo. Very comfortable. Sometimes it can be really cold. Sometimes it can be really hot, right? Maybe if we have maybe an itchy sweater on or something, we might not be very comfortable, right? So our skin is like a window. And then our mind, right? You can remember something delicious that you had and think, "Oh, I remember exactly how that tastes. I want to have that again." And then our mind will go for that, right? And so our minds all day long, they're chasing after things that come in through these 6 windows until finally, right? Finally we get exhausted, right? And we feel really kind of down and tired out, right? And in those moments, then maybe we might get angry, we might shout at someone, or we might go and grab something we don't really need. We can cause all kinds of problems by getting led astray by those 6 windows, those 6 senses. And so Mara, he knew that if Shakyamuni figured out a way to break out of that, if Prince Siddhartha figured out a way to break out of those 6 windows, then he wouldn't be able to control people anymore. And so Mara tried very hard to distract Siddhartha. And so he started with that window of sight, right? He pulled up this flaming sword, and, right? Chased after him, maybe shouted, made some noise, tried to get him through the ears. But what did Siddhartha do? He just kept sitting. He remained perfectly calm. He couldn't be moved, right? Then Siddhartha, as he sat there, received another attack from Mara. But this one was a little different. This time, instead of trying to chase the Buddha away, he tried to lead him away. So he became a beautiful woman, right? Beautiful person, tried to say, oh, maybe I'd like to go talk to that person. Maybe I'd like to, why don't you come over here and, why don't we have a closer conversation, right? Why don't you come look what I have over here, right? Tried to guide him away. He also brought forth delicious food. He created an illusion of delicious food with wonderful smells, tried to lead the Buddha away. He reminded the Buddha, he said, remember those comfortable beds in your palace? How nice it was? Don't you want to go off into that world and be comfortable? And the whole time the Buddha sat there, very calm. Finally, Mara summoned his whole army, all of his scary relatives, to come and try to chase the Buddha away. The Buddha remained perfectly calm. Siddhartha remained perfectly calm and said that they started to shoot arrows at him. And as those arrows approached, they became flowers and fell at the feet of Siddhartha. And finally, Siddhartha, undeterred, he reached down and he touched the ground. And he claimed that spot. He said, this is where I belong. And the earth shook at that moment to affirm and said, yes, this is Siddhartha's spot. And then at that moment, Mara realized that the Buddha's mind was as calm and settled as the earth itself. He gave up and he went away. So we think about our lives, right? How can we be free from Mara? Right? The Buddha, he realized awakening and he showed us the path to freedom. He showed us the path to be still and to be calm. Now, for me, it's very difficult to sit still like the Buddha, constantly running here and there throughout my daily life, chasing after this, running from that. But the Buddha provided me with something that can help me be still, help me be calm, help me settle, let go of my striving and see this open sky up above. And that is 6 syllables, a simple phrase, Namo Amida Butsu, the voice of the Buddha calling to me in this moment. Siddhartha became awakened. He came into this world specifically with the purpose of sharing this teaching, this path to liberation for all beings. And I find that path in Namo Amida Butsu. And you can find it too. Whatever you're doing when you find yourself getting carried away by your frustrations or chasing after something that looks really good or really delicious or really fun and finding yourself getting pulled way off course. If you're running from something you're afraid of, you can just hear these words, Namo Amida Butsu. Say these words, hear these words, and in that moment, your mind will settle and the light will shine in, the light of awakening that we receive from Amida Buddha. And your path to a life of wisdom and compassion will be realized in that very moment. And so Siddhartha, after realizing awakening, he shared this teaching that we chant in the Jusege, this vow of Amida Buddha to be the one who is able to save all in need. And by realizing awakening, all Buddhas are guiding us on that path. And so this Bodhi Day service is a time to celebrate the awakening of Shakyamuni Buddha, but also to celebrate the fulfillment of our own awakening through the Buddha's wisdom and compassion and the wise teachings that he provides us to be a guide so that we don't get carried away and pulled back and forth, but we're able to remain calm and settled, just like Siddhartha, calm and settled in Namo Amida Butsu. So I thank you very much for this time that we've been able to spend together this evening. In conclusion, I invite you to join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 Namo.
Thank you, Sensei, for that Dharma talk and that reminder.